Everyone, today we are going to talk about the visual inspection of the nozzles in the automatic sprinkler system. NFPA 25 has a series of inspection, testing, and maintenance requirements that it specifies to be performed according to their respective frequencies. Each test has its own frequency. Visual inspections of automatic sprinklers must be conducted annually. This type of inspection does not require special equipment such as a ladder, a platform, or any type of equipment that would elevate the inspector close to the nozzle. It should be done from the floor level. There are several types of tests. This is one of them and should be done from the floor. Other tests such as checking the total water flow, internal inspections, and equipment have different frequencies, but this visual inspection must be performed from the floor. We have some important items that need to be checked during this visual inspection so that the inspector can report them in their document, the report of this annual inspection. The first thing we need to check is for leaks. If the nozzle has any type of water leak, water from the system is leaking through the nozzle. The water leak can create obstacles for the parts through the minerals found in the water, causing the parts to connect to each other. The parts that should be disconnected when the nozzle is activated may become slightly stuck due to the influence of water mineralization. Therefore, leaks can cause damage to the property and must be promptly corrected. Corrosion, harmful to the splint. It should be checked whether there is corrosion of the nozzle. This often occurs in environments with poor air quality, which can adversely affect the metal and create corrosion that alters the shape of the deflector, weakens parts of the nozzle, and causes operational issues. Therefore, any nozzle that shows signs of corrosion should be replaced. Loss of fluid from the heat-sensitive element. This problem is very difficult to occur, but we need to check if the level of that colored liquid inside the glass bulb is adequate. There are other heat-sensitive elements, but the glass bulbs have a coloration that represents the temperature at which the nozzle is activated. If there is a leak of this fluid, we need to replace the nozzle. There is no way to repair the nozzle. It cannot be refilled with that liquid. So we have to make the replacement, and this is a type of defect that we check at the level of the sun. Due to physical factors, if the nozzle has any type of physical damage, it is not always possible to verify this from the floor. Sometimes the nozzle is too high to identify it. However, even small variations can cause a significant change in the shape of the spray and leave parts of the area that the nozzle is covering unprotected. So it is important for you to check if the shape of the nozzle has not been altered by any physical damage. This usually happens during construction, and this nozzle should also be replaced. We should also not try to fix this nozzle, attempting to take a good nozzle and make it the same shape. It's not possible to do that. This is done in a very precise industry. Therefore, a nozzle with physical damage must be replaced and not repaired. Loading that is detrimental to the performance of the nozzle. Loading, meaning it has been painted, there are materials deposited on it that are affecting the nozzle. Any type of mechanical or physical interference with the nozzle is an important factor that can also disrupt the shape of the spray and the functioning of the nozzle, as well as the maintenance of the nozzle. This situation is very commonly found during the annual visual inspections of the automatic sprinkler system. Paint different from that applied by the manufacturer. It is possible for us to have painted nozzles. This is feasible. The standard allows for this possibility, and there are manufacturers that provide painted nozzles for certain special situations. But the nozzles should only be painted by the manufacturer. You cannot paint the nozzle after you receive it and after you install it. When you paint, especially the glass bulb that contains the heat-sensitive element, you are altering a number of physical characteristics. You are creating an insulator there, which will significantly hinder the operation that is not permitted by the standard. It is a type of non-conformity that we can see at floor level, whether the nozzle is painted or not. So, to repeat, it is possible to have painted nozzles, but these nozzles must come painted from the factory. We cannot paint these nozzles during the construction. Another non-conformity that we often observe is the incorrect positioning of the nozzles. There are no UP white nozzles, pendant nozzles, side nozzles, or sidewalls that should be installed according to the position they were designed for. You cannot take a pendant nozzle and place it in pure white. This is not how the water spray is expected. The design is made considering the normal water spray for a proper situation. If you reverse this, the nozzle is not covering the entire area it should cover, and this can cause a defect where a certain area is not being reached by the water spray. This is also very common. When this happens, we have two situations. If possible, you can modify the entire branch, turning the branch without removing the nozzle from the thread, rotating the branch if that is feasible. If you can maintain the minimum and maximum distances of the deflectors, you can do that. Or you can replace the nozzle, remove the wrong nozzle and install the correct one. Well, we can never allow a nozzle that was manufactured for one position to be installed in another position. The inspections carried out by NF Arming 5 are not intended for you to correct the design to see if it is installed outside of the standard. It aims to compare the installation with the design and identify the associated risks, as well as any non-conformities in the installation or damage to the equipment. When you have to conduct an analysis, it is already described in NFPA 13 and not in NFPA 25. The building owner is responsible for requesting design changes when they alter the fire load or when they change the conditions for which the automatic sprinkler system was designed. Another very common non-conformity is the distance from the deflector to the merchandise. We have a distance in the case of the Bico spray of 45.7 millimeters. This is the minimum distance between the deflector and the merchandise, and it must be consistently respected. It is very common for us to have changes during the life of that building. During the annual visual inspections of automatic sprinklers, we must observe whether the distance between the merchandise and the deflector is not being altered. These are some of the checks that NFPA 25 requires for annual inspections. I am a member of NFPA, but the situations I have presented here are solely based on my experience and my training, and they are not official statements from NFPA. I am not an official representative of NFPA. I am just a member of NFPA. I am sharing my opinion here, conveying my experience to you. Why knowledge in fire protection saves lives. So, if you enjoyed the content of this video, subscribe to our channel, click the like button here so you can continue gaining knowledge about fire protection because it saves lives. Well, thank you very much for watching this video until now. I am Professor Silmar Senden, a civil engineer, occupational safety engineer, electrical engineer, and fire protection engineer. Thank you very much, and I will see you in the next class.